All right, today I drove at least 5 hours from Montreal all the way here in the Toronto area. I just got to the Canadian Tire Motorsport Park here in the Toronto area. Well, you know, I drove the Camaro 1Le Turbo today. Good car, you know, fuel economy wise, 8 liter per 100 kilometers. Comfortable, even if these seats are pretty basic, they're cloth seats. This car is truly meant to be on a racetrack, you know, for the price, $35,000, around that. So it's a pretty good deal. You know, I drove more than 5 hours. It was great, you know, nothing wrong with it. Good fuel economy, good ride. So today on the track here, we're gonna drive the full lineup of Camaros. Basically, we're gonna drive from the 4-cylinder all the way up to the 650 horsepower ZL1. So we're gonna have some fun on the track. All right, we're heading on the track. I choose the SS to start manual with the rev match. Should be pretty fun.
Yeah, so his daughter, yeah. His daughter is...
You want to just pull, right up?
She's talking about that. Put me in an SS.
Next group, yeah. You guys can both have the SS next session. Yeah, perfect.
All right, so the 1Le Turbo I drove down here for plus 5 hours. Now I'm gonna drive it on the track. That's a real test. Right inside of the Camaro Turbo 1Le this week, a real test. Actually, I've been driving the Camaro Turbo 1Le for 2 weeks now, and it's been a harsh test. I have to tell you, you know, I've been doing a road trip all the way to the Toronto area. I've been, you know, driving more than 5 hours on one way and the other, so a total of more than 10 hours road trip with this car. And also I've been to the racetrack with it at the Canadian Motorsport. Awesome times with the guys from the Run Fellow School right there. So with Chevrolet Canada, we've been putting 3 different models of Camaro. This particular car I'm driving today, and also SS 1Le and also the ZL1 1Le. I consider this new packaging from Chevrolet, the Turbo 1Le. It's an affordable track toy. So, you know, with the 2-liter turbo, it's a 4-cylinder. It's good for 275 horsepower and 295 foot-pounds of torque. You know, this engine is not bad. You know, it's got plenty of power for the size of it. And with the 1Le package, this transformed the Camaro into a track toy, good handling and all that. Actually, the 1Le Turbo model, because, you know, you're saving so much weight in the front compared to the SS model. It's 400 pounds lighter than the SS model, so you're saving a lot of weight, and also a lot of weight in the front. And because you get so much less weight in the front of this car, you get almost a 50-50 weight distribution in this Camaro. So it improved a lot the handling of this car. So performance wise, you know, that 2-liter is not bad. You know, everyone's gonna compare it to the V8 or ZL1, but you know, that's where you make a mistake. You know, the people who's gonna buy this car, they're gonna daily use it, and also, you know, they like to be you know, driving in country roads, maybe some track time and all that. But for the price, you know, these SS, it's at least 20 grand more, or maybe 30. ZL1 even more. So these are big jumps, you know, in the pricing, and I think we got a lot of performance for the money with the 1LE turbo. And you know, in the same kind of like bracket, you'll find maybe the Miata, maybe also the GT86, cars like that, you know. And you don't have the space, and you cannot get all the parts you can get with the GM Performance, you know, catalog and all the aftermarket. Sky's the limit with Camaro. It's one of the cars who get, you know, a lot of parts, you know, aftermarket wise. That's a big plus for a Camaro, and you know, it's a bigger car, made also for bigger guys like me. So you know, if I was looking, you know, for something fun, rear-wheel drive under 40,000, Camaro 1LE, it's pretty much on top of my list. A big plus for me also with the 1LE turbo, even for the price, you know, you get that awesome steering wheel, the same as you can get in the SS or the ZL1. You can change the modes here, just underneath the shifter. Once you put it in sport or track, I like how rigid that steering wheel is on track mode. I just love it. It's one of my favorite steering wheel on the market right now. The transmission is a 6-speed, but shifting wise, maybe it's not as awesome as the one you'll find in a SS or a ZL1 with the rev match. I'm a big fan of the rev match, but it's a good transmission, you know. Shifting this transmission feels better than the MT82 you'll find in a Ford Mustang GT. Sadly, you know, in the Ford Mustang, the transmission is really the weak point. Even this cheaper model of Camaro delivers a better experience with the transmission. Interior wise, everything is simple, you know, outside of the awesome steering wheel and the shifter comes with the 1LE package. Everything else in this car, it's base, and you know, the seats are comfortable. I drove in that car for more than 10 hours in a road trip. They're making the job. This one doesn't have the upgraded seats. You can get the Recaros and all that, but it gets the job done. You know, that's what I like, and that's what the purpose of this car is. No fancy anything, because you want to stay, you know, want to keep the cost low with this car. But you know, I like the interior of the Camaro. It's plain and simple. Even if I don't have the GPS, I can hook up my phone with the Apple CarPlay. You know, I can hook up my GPS and all that. Everything is simple. You know, I've got the base, you know, options and all that, but it gets the job done. You know, price wise, option wise, look wise, I have nothing to complain there. All right, a few things I don't like about the Camaro, and it's the Camaro in general, you know, even if it's the ZL1, the SS, or this one. There's a couple of things, you know, I'm not a big fan of. Obviously, vision-wise, it's restricted. But you get used to it, though. You know, I've been on the track. I had no issues to follow my lines and my braking zones and all that. It's just for someone who never drove this type of car. You know, it can be like, you know, claustrophobic, I can say. It's limited. The windows are tiny. Another things I don't like, it's you know, where you change your modes here for putting in a track or removing your traction control and all that, while I'm, you know, resting my arm or changing my gears. Sometimes you know, by accident I press on the modes and I change my mode, or I remove the traction control. I think there's probably a better place to put those buttons. Otherwise, this is unique to the 1LE turbo. Maybe the V6 got the same transmission, I'm not sure about that, but you know, to put it in reverse, in the SS, it's completely on the right side. It's pretty rare you're gonna make a mistake to put it in reverse. This one, it's on the left side, just next to the first gear. During those 2 weeks, it happens to me a couple of times. I put it in first or I put it in reverse, and you know, I didn't want to put in reverse or first gear, vice versa, basically. You know, the only plus I could say for the Ford Mustang, you know, you got that little lever, it was gonna block you to put in the reverse, and I think this Camaro should have something to you know, force you to lift to put in reverse, because sometimes, you know, I make the mistake to put it not in the right gear, and it's little things, you know, nothing. It's a big deal. The trunk is a little bit smaller than the Mustang or the Challenger, but otherwise, you know, it's a great car. So it was my experience on the track with the 3 different models of the Camaro. First of all, you know, it was my first time driving the ZL1 1LE. I was looking forward to drive that car, and that car is just awesome. You know, it's just a beast, and you know, it's really one of the first time I really experienced the downforce of a car. With the ZL1 1LE, you really have an aggressive splitter in the front, big spoiler in the back, so you could feel on that track, because that track is such a high-speed track. You can really feel the Camaro like having that pressure of the downforce putting down. It was just awesome driving that car. 650 horsepower, 10-speed transmission, automatic with the paddle shifter. You know, that transmission is awesome. Every time you know, upshift, you get that feeling of jumping forward every time. You really feel like a video game, you know, playing Forza or something. You know, I was worried at first when I drove the ZL1, because experience-wise, with that engine, the LT4, I drove the Z06 and also the Cadillac CTS-V. I found that car was kind of tricky to drive, tail happy, both for the Z06 and also the CTS-V. But the ZL1s have got so much grip, especially with the downforce and with those chunky tires. It was really easy to drive, easy to push. Actually, you know, when we were in the straights, we could easily hit the 270 kilometers an hour. We could have been maybe faster than that, but our teacher, our professional driver teaching us the track at the Canadian Motorsport Speedway, I was driving an SS, so we were limited a little bit in the straight to go in higher speed. But just an awesome car, awesome grip. It was easy to drive. Actually, when we were lapping at a higher speed, we catch up with the SS group. The SS group was behind us, and we basically, you know, had one lap in advance on that group. And these guys were, you know, that was their own town track journalists for years in the Toronto area. And even if it was my first time, you know, on that track, we were so fast with the ZL1, we basically lapped the SS. But, you know, otherwise, the SS 1LE was just awesome to put that rev match manual 6-speed transmission on the track. Every time you downshift, you get that perfect downshift with the rev match. Just fantastic. I love the rev match. I'm a big fan of the rev match, and it was really fast on the track. And at the end, you know, I drove this particular car I'm driving today. You know, maybe it's not as fast as the SS or the ZL1 in the straights, but you know, in the curves, you know, you can push it to the limit. You get awesome grip, awesome steering wheel feedback. You get all that, and you know, you can really push that car more to the limit, especially if you're on the street with the 1LE turbo. You can, you know, really roll those gears. With the SS or the ZL1, when you really push it, you know, you're good to have like a ticket to jail. But you know, for track tour, you know, again, comparing these 3 models, you got a big difference in price, and you can really feel that big difference. But handling wise, it's a little bit closer. All right, let's talk a little bit more about the 2-liter turbo. Obviously, you don't have the sound of the V8, but you know, you have to get used to drive this little 4-cylinder turbo. At first, I had a little bit of a hard time because I was used to drive V8s in that type of car. So while shifting gears, you know, the input of gas and clutch, you know, it's not the same as a V8 because In the V8, you have so much torque at low RPM. It's just like driving a tractor, you know. You just dump the clutch and the car basically go. It's not the same with a 4-cylinder. You gotta give a little bit of gas, and that's one of the main difference. And also, you know, while shifting gears and all that, you have to keep that engine in the boost. While you're in the boost, that's really where you can, you know, pull out the most performance out of that engine. You don't have that low torque RPM. You've got kind of like a little bit of turbo lag, all that. But when you keep it in higher RPM, you really want to push it a little bit more, you know, you have to keep it in the boost. You have to learn how this engine works and how it reacts. So basically, you know, you can really put out some good performance out of this car, but you're not able to drive it as the same as a V8 car. So a V8 car, sometimes you can be in higher gear and just give some gas and it'll go. Here it's just a 4-cylinder. You always have to be in higher RPM, higher boost and all that. So once you learn the curve, the performance curve of that engine, you can put out some serious performance out of it. Speaking of the 1Le package, you know, for me, in the American muscle car, sport car, you know, it's really the definition of like a track package, and it's basically one of the best on the market. You know, the performance pack you'll find on a Ford Mustang Level 2, it's not, you know, it's not bad, but it's not as the same level as the 1Le. If you really want to compete against like a SS 1Le, you really have to jump in a Shelby GT350, and it's not the same price to get that experience of track-oriented car, I could say. So I know the 1Le package, 1Le name is not the most attracting, you know, name on the market, but I truly believe, you know, it's got that place on the market. And I want you guys to notice these cars. You know, when you see the 1Le, you'll see like, oh wow, this 1Le, it's serious stuff, it's about truck. And you know, again, you can get that package with the 2-liter turbo, the V6, the SS, the ZL1, and I think it's just awesome. Really, to get that 1Le feeling at Ford, you really have to step up in a GT350, and it's not the same price. And if you want to talk about Dodge, you know, Dodge, I think they're good for the drag strip, but you know, on a circuit, I think the Mustang and the Camaro will leave the Dodge behind. So overall, I was really surprised with the 1Le turbo. You know, as a muscle car purist, you know, at first I was like, wow, whatever, it's not V8, you know, I need my V8 and all that. But I think it's really cool from the guys from Chevrolet to do a package like that in a lower trim level. It's more affordable and all that. So it really comes to compete with those GDM or EcoBoost model I was talking about before. I think it's great. And also, if we want to keep people going to the track and stuff like that, it's a great car for that. A great daily driver if you're looking something for a rear-wheel drive. You know, price-wise, you know, it's tough to beat. So if you have any idea or something will be better than this car for the price, the performance and all that, put it in the comments. I want to see your suggestion and all that. Obviously, you know, there's some great cars out there, but you know, they're smaller and probably I won't fit in it. So for me, it's a big no. This week I'm driving the Camaro Turbo 1Le, and a lot of you guys ask me how does it sound, because it's a 2-liter turbo 4-cylinder. So let's do a cold start.